In a recent interview that Volodymyr Zelensky granted, he said Ukraine is not winning the war, and they are not winning the war because they don't have enough air defense systems, which is a bit strange to me. Guys, can you hear the sound of the birds? Whenever I'm recording, these birds will make noise non-stop. I don't know why. It's a bit strange to me because, you see, for example, if the Russians launch around 100 missiles, the Ukrainians will come out and tell us that they shot down around 95 or 98 missiles down. So it's a bit strange to me hearing Volodymyr Zelensky talking about air defense systems today.
You know, Ukraine is at the moment definitely not losing the war, but it's also at the moment not winning.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, it's true. We don't have enough weapon. We don't have a lot of things. We are not comparable with the number of weapon, drones, artillery, and missiles. The biggest problem that we don't have enough air defense.
I believe this interview was granted yesterday because Slav posted it this morning. I stand to be corrected. Due to copyright issues, I can't play the full video for you guys. So let me read what Zelensky said for you guys. So they spoke about election. They spoke about a lot of things. Let me summarize the whole article for you guys here. So the interviewer started by asking Volodymyr Zelensky about Ukrainian election. And this is what Zelensky said. He said, elections are possible if a ceasefire is achieved. Really? We all know that that is not going to be possible because the Russians have said it over and over again that they are not going to agree to any ceasefire. They only want to end the war. They are not interested in a ceasefire. From the Russians' point, they believe that if they agree to a ceasefire, that will give Ukraine and the West advantage, right, to rearm the Ukrainians to come and fight them. So they are not going to agree to any ceasefire because I hope you guys remember the Russian invasion of Crimea in 2014. So when the Russians invaded Crimea, Ukraine surrendered, Western Europeans and Americans came in. They decided to come up with a peace negotiation plan, which is the Minsk one. They violated the Minsk one. The Russians protested. Then they signed the Minsk II. After the war broke out in 2022, Germany, or former Germany Vice Chancellor, what is her name? Angela Merkel came out and said it was only a tactic to buy more time for the Ukrainian armed forces. So the Russians have learned their lessons and they are saying that they are not going to agree to any ceasefire now. By the way, let's continue. If we cannot retake territories by force, we are ready to regain them in the future through diplomatic means. This is a good compromise. Interesting. Let's continue. If Russia causes blackout in Ukraine, the armed forces of Ukraine will strike Russia energy infrastructure with American weapons. By the way, the Ukrainians, this time around, they are targeting more Russian pipelines. This is true. Ukraine is not winning the war. This is the most interesting part for me. We do not have enough weapons. Our biggest problem is that we lack sufficient air defense. Wow. You are the same people who keep telling us that you shoot down 95 to 98% of Russian drones or missiles. So why is Zelensky complaining about air defense here? Now, one thing about this whole air defense issue is because the Russians are using the Gerald 2 drones. I mean, you chasing ordinary drone with expensive air defense missile, especially the Patriot. The Patriot air defense missiles are very, very expensive, right? According to experts, it is around 1 million to 1.5 million per shell. The problem I see is there will never be enough air defense systems for Ukraine because the Russians are using drones. Note, when they launch these drones, they launch them in hundreds. Some of them are decoys. So how can you be chasing $1,000 drone with over 1.5 million missile? Economically, it doesn't make sense. And this is war of attrition. The fact is the world currently don't have a concrete solution to these drone problems. Yes, there have been attempts to combat them using laser weapons, using signal jammers, but these drones continue to penetrate into airspace, making it very difficult to shoot them down. It's not easy. So even if America should give Ukraine even 1,000 Patriot air defense missiles today, it is still not going to solve any problem. Ukraine drones penetrate into Russian airspace. They continue to hit Russian, gas pipelines. So this drone problem is a big problem. Because of the current crisis on the front lines, the Ukrainian government is forced to mobilize their citizens by force. So they just passed a law. If you are between the age of 25 to 60, automatically you are a soldier. Good luck. You are going to fight the Russians. Interesting. Now, according to the Telegraph and several Western publications, Zelensky is asking Donald Trump. According to several Western publications, they claim that Zelensky is asking Donald Trump to allow the Ukrainians to launch American long-range weapons into Russian territories. And Trump is rejecting that proposal. By the way, I don't think this is going to make any difference, because the Ukrainians back in 2023, they were launching long-range weapons into Russian territory. How many of you remember HIMARS? HIMARS became very popular because of this attacks on Russia, because they launched them. The HIMARS is a precision missile system. It used GPS. Yes, they launched it into Russian mainland. They've done it multiple times, but it didn't change anything. Whether Donald Trump approved it or not, I don't think this is going to make any big difference, because we have seen it before. Now let's go to the Middle East. Another interesting development from the Middle East. Sky News reports that US government is trying to prevent Israel being banned from international football. It's after a UN human rights panel called for sporting sanctions on the country. If Russia got banned, then how could Israel not get banned after facing genocide charges?
Start there with breaking news, and Sky News has learned that the Trump administration is stepping in to try to stop FIFA banning Israel from international football ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Football's world and European governing bodies are under pressure to suspend all Israeli teams over the war in Gaza. Well, our sports correspondent Rob Harris is here. So, Rob, just tell us a little bit more about this row within FIFA and what America are now saying.
Well, this week, a group of UN external experts, special rapporteurs, said that Israel should be banned from international football, citing the Commission of Inquiry report linked to the UN, saying that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. Those accusations are denied by Israel, but certainly there are growing calls for sporting sanctions to be imposed on Israel over the mounting death toll in Gaza. Now, we've not heard back from FIFA on this.
Exactly. Many people were asking this question. When Russia invaded Ukraine, boom, they sanctioned, the Russians. But Israel has been doing this for a very long time, and they still participate in international games. So this is the matter of common sense. I mean, this is selective justice. Why sanction the Russians? Why prevent them from participating in international tournaments? But Israel, who have been doing this since 1948, still participating in international activities. Boom. Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. So, it is unheard of. It is completely new. So they decided to sanction Russia, while the Israelis are walking scot-free. Wow.